Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining our webinar today entitled Introduction to Money Management for Newcomers in Canada, sponsored by TD. I'm Kareem Al-Assal, the Policy Director at CanadaVisa. Last week, the Canadian government announced that Canada will continue to sustain very high levels of immigration moving forward. Over the next 3 years, Canada aims to welcome nearly 1.5 million new immigrants. This is in addition to the hundreds of thousands of new international students and foreign workers Canada welcomes each year. Once newcomers get to Canada, they not only need to open a bank account, but they also need to learn how to manage their money and save for their future in Canada. TD is Canada's leading bank for newcomers, and during the first half of this webinar, they will provide you with a comprehensive overview so that you can feel confident about creating a budget, investing, and growing your wealth over time. We have received your questions via email prior to the webinar, and we're going to answer as many of them as we can in the second half of this event. In addition, you're more than welcome to type your questions in the chat box on your screen, and again, we'll look to answer them in the second half of the webinar. Please note that we're happy to answer general questions about investing in Canada. For more specific questions, after this webinar, you're welcome to email TD. The email is td.newcomers@td.com so that you can receive tailored information. And we'll be sharing this email with you shortly in the chat box so that you can save it and connect with TD afterwards. I'm also happy to note this webinar is being recorded. We will email you a recording of the webinar by tomorrow. You may have also seen in our emails and on our page on cicnews.com that we're going to be holding a draw after this webinar to award one lucky participant a $100 Canadian gift card. What we're going to do is hold a draw among those who participate until the very end of this webinar. So please make sure to tune in all the way through. What we'll then do is we will award one lucky person a gift card, and we'll email you shortly so that you can go ahead and collect it. TD has been kind enough to share an expert speaker to deliver today's presentation. Now let me go ahead and introduce her. Anne Wu is a retail branch manager of TD Canada Trust in the Greater Toronto Area. She's an experienced banker with a strong background in personal investment, personal lending, real estate finance, and business funding needs. She came to Canada as an international student and obtained a Bachelor of Commerce from York University, majoring in accounting and finance. She worked in the private sector as an operations manager for over 10 years and joined TD in 2013. She has been working for various positions as a financial advisor, manager of customer service, and account manager for small businesses. As an immigrant herself, she understands the challenges newcomers face when navigating the world of banking in a new country. She's passionate about simplifying the complexities of banking needs for newcomers. With all that being said, Anne, I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you, Kareem, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone from Toronto, and thank you for joining TD's information session today. As Kareem has mentioned, my name is Anne, and I am from the local branch in Markham North, Ontario. I myself is a first-generation immigrant. I understand it could be exciting and nervous when you move to a new country. It is my pleasure to be part of your journey to Canada. Today's session is all about providing you information on budgeting and investing. So with further ado, let's start. Budgeting is the cornerstone of financial stability, and today we will discover the art of creating a personalized budget tailored to your financial goal, ensuring that your income aligns with your expense. Budgeting is the most crucial step in creating a financial plan, and it may be helpful to make your plan visible. You need to see it daily, weekly, to keep yourself in check to help stick to the plan. There are 3 rules of budgeting. It is simple but essential steps. Rule number 1, prioritize your money. You want to have a plan and set the limits on how much you spend on what. Your plan should differentiate between needs and want. A need is something that is necessary, required, or essential. For example, a roof over your head, clothing, food, or medication. A want is something that you'd like but don't necessarily need. For example, meals at a restaurant, a trip, a gym membership, or designer shoes. Using free automated tool may help saving time and ensure that the spending information collected is correct. I recommend to download TD My Spend app once you become a TD customer. TD My Spend helps you keep track of your spending and saving. As a TD customer, your TD personal bank account and TD credit card transaction are automatically available in TD My Spending app, so you can keep track of your spending. You can categorize your spending from your TD deposit and credit card accounts as needs, want, or others. Gain spending insight. Use My Spend to track your expense and get spending insights. You can also get transaction alerts. Keep moving towards your goal. Use the wish list feature to set saving goals and track your progress towards them. TD My Spend is totally free for download. However, standard message and data rates may apply. Rule number 2, always look forward. You may want to plan for the entire year of expenses from small to big. Example can include, but not limited to, new winter tires are needed for a new winter. However, start planning this summer. A big repair is required next fall, starting planning in the spring. Rule number 3, adjust and realign. Using the TD My Spend app, it is easy to see what you have overspent. When it happened, you must readjust your budget, spend less, or lower your expense to get back to on track. It typically takes 3 months to build a good habit. A budget is a plan that helps you to manage your money. It helps you figure out how much money you earn, spend, and save. Making a budget can help you balance your income with your saving and expenses. It guides your spending to help you reach your financial goal. A budget is essentially important if you don't know where your money is going, you don't save regularly, have challenge paying off your debts, feel overwhelmed by your finance, feel like you are not in control of your finance and want to make the most of your money more efficient. Making a budget can help you set spending limit, find ways to pay down your debts, reduce costs and save more, live within your means, reduce your stress, have more money for things that are important to you, and feel in control of your money. Now, let's create a budget. Step 1, first, you want to calculate your net monthly income from all sources, regular income plus any other income. Net income is the amount of the money received after deduction from taxes, benefits, and retirement contributions. Gross pay is what employee earned before taxes, benefits, and other payroll deduction that are withheld with their wage. The amount remaining after all withholding accounted for is net pay, or take-home pay we call. Step 2. Now you want to calculate what is your necessary expense. Make sure, as what we mentioned, it is necessary, not what you want. Step 3. Assess your debts. Good versus bad. Good debts is defined as money owed for things that can help build wealth or increase income over time, such as student loan, mortgage, or a business loan. Bad debts refers to things like car loans and other consumer debts that do little to improve your financial outcome. Step 4, dealing with your debts. Consolidating your debts by moving high interest in rate balance to a low interest balance that will help you to save the interest payment. For example, if you have a credit card with a high interest rate and you are revolving a balance monthly, you can consider transferring that into a personal line of credit at a lower interest rate. Consider if you can pay off the debts with the highest interest first, you will pay less interest. This will help you become debt-free sooner. Step 5, figure out our discretionary spending. It is to understand how much you will have discretionary spending available. As discussed earlier, calculate the difference between your net monthly income and your mandatory monthly expense. This is how much you could allocate towards your wants, such as movies, TV, or choose to invest it. Step 6, use a smart approach to budget. You want to set up a goal which is specific, measurable, alignable, realistic, and time-bound. For example, I want to reduce my takeout budget by 25%, which is $50 towards my saving for a new set of winter tire for next winter. Next, let's take a look at investing. Investing is an effective way to put your money to work and potentially build wealth. Investing is the act of putting forth funds with the expectation of income and profit. Personal investing is buying financial security or property for the purpose of making profit. Now, let's take a look at some unique registered products that typically we use in Canada to help to achieve your financial goal. First is RRSP, which is also called Registered Retirement Saving Plan. RRSP will be a very popular term you will always hear from after you landed in Canada. And RRSP is a saving plan that lets you save for retirement on a tax deferral basis. You will receive tax deduction when you contribute, earn the tax deferral, and tax are paid on withdrawals. Your RRSP contribution is limited to 18% of your earned income in the previous year, 18% of your earned income in the previous year. The annual RRSP limit plus any contribution room carried forward from previous year less any pension adjustment. Also, Canadian government have a first home buyers plan to allow you access eligible fund in your RSP to help buy your first home or pursue further education. Next is tax-free saving, TFSA. A tax-free savings account is a registered account plan that lets you grow and withdraw your money tax-free, making it a great option when saving for a short-term or long-term goal. You may not pay tax on investment income earned in your tax-free saving, and you can withdraw them from the tax-free savings account depending on the qualifying withdrawal. It offers you the flexibility to save for various short-term and long-term financial goals. Usually, with easy access to the money depending on the type of investment you hold. Next is FHSA, First Home Savings Account. It is a new registered account introduced this year by Canada government. It is a registered plan with the government of Canada designed to help individuals save money for a first home purchase. To open a first home savings account, you must be a Canadian resident, 18 years or older, and also a first home buyer. Like an RSP, contribution will be generally tax deductible and similar to tax-free saving withdrawals. It is tax-free when you the qualified withdrawal is made to purchase a qualifying home will be tax-free, including any income or gain is not taxable. Annual contributions are capped at $8,000 up to $40,000 lifetime contribution limit. Last one is our Registered Education Savings Plan, RESP. RESP can be a great way to save for your children's education, including the post-secondary education, tuition, textbooks, rent, and transportation. When you contribute money into a child's RESP, the government may contribute an additional 20% on the first $2,500 contributed annually, up to a maximum $500 a year. Lifetime, you may be eligible for up to $7,200 in Canada Education Savings Grant, CESG, and the Canadian Learning Bond, CLB. Money invested in RESP can grow tax deferred. RESP can be set up as an individual account, means for one child, or family RESP account shared amongst multiple children. Thank you very much for joining today's session. Be sure to visit our New to Canada page on TD website. It comes with 14 languages to offer you more information and provide confidence in your banking solution.
Thank you so much, Anne, for that great presentation. And thank you everyone for submitting your questions in the chat box on your screens. Please continue to do so. Over the next little while, Anne is going to look to answer as many of your questions as possible. So let's go ahead and begin. First, I'm going to start with a comment from Cherise. She writes that she actually has the TD My Savings app and she finds it to be extremely helpful. So thank you, Cherise, for those kind words. Jatinder asks a couple of questions. First, does TD offer startup loans to newcomers? And what other forms of assistance does TD offer to immigrant newcomers who are looking to start a business?
That's a great question. And it looks like it's very forward thinking. We'll start thinking about business in the new country. So in terms of newcomers, TD definitely offer a new to Canada package. It is a one-stop solution I would describe, typically including a checking account, saving account, as well as a credit card to help you start, have your credit score built in Canada. And we actually offer a free, no monthly fee for first 6 months, as well as a premium saving rate for first 6 months. So if you want to check more detailed information, I would recommend you either visit TD Canada Trust website, or if you are already in Canada, visit your local TD branch and ask for a personal banker. They will provide you more detailed information. In terms of business loan startup, yes, this is definitely a very good question. I think a lot of people used to have a business experience back in your home country that would like to start new journey in Canada. And in this case, that TD actually work with Government of Canada, offer a startup loan for any new business with any no financial statement history. That program is called CSBFL, Canadian Small Business Loan. So I would recommend you again you can do some research about CSBFL online with TD Canada Trust website, or you can walk into a local TD branch, ask for a account manager small business. They will help you to set up your loan.
Excellent. So we have a couple of related questions. I'll start with the one from Alu Dawimalari. The question is, as a newcomer to Canada, how can I open an account with TD when I arrive, and what documentation do I need?
Great question. Everybody will need that to be done. So the first step is just bring one of your ID with photo ID. Very typically for newcomer, passport would be the easiest one you can carry with you. And if you do land it as a permanent, you do land it as a PR already. If you have landed paper, bring it in with you. If you have a working permit or study permit, so bring it in with you as well. That will be sufficient enough in order to open a checking account. Usually our TD local branch will be very well to assist you right away. Sometimes appointment is required, depends on the branch capacity.
Okay, excellent. Before I go into the next question, I'll ask a follow-up question of my own end. How available is TD across Canada?
How available?
Yes.
As you,
These people, a lot of our audience haven't been in Canada before. They want to know how easy it is to find a TD branch anywhere in Canada.
I may be a little bit biased in this case, consider I'm actually work at the TD. So TD is one of the biggest bank in Canada, which I would say it's I would believe say in terms of number of retail branch, we are number one in Canada, and we are always branded as a convenience bank, which means that we typically have a longer business hours. We also open for Saturdays and some days during the week. We also open until the 8 p.m. Therefore, it provides you all time for your convenience, as well as number of retail branch. We do have the most retail branch compared to other banks in Canada. So very likely you're going to find at least one in your community.
And what our audience can also do is go on TD's website and check TD's branch locator, and you'll be able to see the closest branch to you when you move to Canada. But TD is available pretty much everywhere in Canada. They're very, very, very convenient to access. The follow-up question is from Temetop, and their question is, can I open a TD bank account overseas before I move to Canada?
That's a great question. I actually received a lot of this question lately, and I did a little bit of research before I entered today's seminar. So right now, for people in India as well as in China, it is possible for you to open the TD account prior to you come to Canada. So, typically, they will require a Canadian visa on your passport. So that process, let me find the phone number for you. Okay. Yes. So that process is through a phone call. So you can call us, open your TD account up to 75 days prior to your arrival. You can also transfer up to 25,000 into your new TD bank account before your arrival. Make sure you will have a Canadian immigrant visa ready when you call. The phone number I can share with you from China, the phone number is 1-855-537-5355. And for India, you can call 416-351-0613.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And what I'm also going to do is share with everyone TD's email so that you can ask any follow-up questions relating to opening your bank account. So let me just go ahead and share that once again. So here it is. It's at td.newcomers@td.com. Here's a great question from Mulad. It's a two-part question. What's the difference between Visa and MasterCard? This is a question.
Great question. I think Kareem can answer that question better.
Okay, sure. And the question more related to what is the difference between a debit card and a credit card? So Visa and MasterCard are essentially two different providers of credit. Basically, they're two different companies, and you can do research on your own to see what is the best fit for you. Do you want to answer the question about what's the difference between debit and credit?
Debit card, sure. Debit card is typically the bank card we refer to that associated with either your checking account or saving account. Credit card is a little bit debit card, so you will need to set up a checking account or saving account. Deposit your money into that account will allow you to make a purchase, use the money already in your account. Credit card at the same time is a little bit different. It actually approved for a user based on a credit score, and it will have a limit, a credit limit under your card. Everybody will have your own credit limit, and you can use that credit limit first, and then pay off the balance at the end of the statement when you receive the statement, and there will be a due date on it. So the difference is you need to have the money first ready for use versus credit card that you can use it first as a convenience and pay it back at the end.
Excellent. So we have another great question here, and I know you touched on this during your presentation, Anne. How can a newcomer prioritize their expenses in Canada?
Yes, we sort of mentioned it a little bit during that. I understand everybody has a very unique situation. So like what we were talking about, I think the first thing is set up your plan and thinking about what is your life event. Everybody could be a little bit different. Some people may come here with a big family, and then you will need to do a little bit of research in terms of what could be the shelter cost. So it will be very different in terms of some people just coming by yourself. So have a very detailed budget. It's very important. And once you have that very detailed budget, like we also mentioned during the deck, that what is need and what is want is sometimes get people confused. So trying to prioritize to put on what you definitely need. Typically, we're talking about the money you pay for the rent, your shelter. Second, your grocery that you have to have enough food, and sometimes your bus pass that when you actually need to use for transportation. Some of the budget that will you want to put it a little bit after. For example, when we are talking about food, grocery is a need, but if eating in the at the restaurant or a takeout, and maybe a want. So maybe those are the stuff you want to put after until you figure out how much discretionary money you have left after all your expense. You can leave something out for those items.
Thank you for that, Anne. Charisse and Joshua ask similar questions. Simply, does TD offer insurance products?
TD do offer insurance. We actually have a specific part called TD Insurance that offers car insurance, travel insurance. You can get information from a local TD branch or TD website for their phone number to get more information about TD Insurance site.
Natalie asks, is there TD in Saskatoon? Yes, there is. TD is available in all major cities in Canada. Marceline asks, how can I learn about what interest rate I'll be charged to my credit card?
So when you actually open up a credit card, you will be provided a booklet, including a very detailed information about our credit card. That will also include what is the interest rate they charge and how they're going to charge it. Depends on the number of days, and that booklet will come together, will provide it when you actually open up a card with your advisor, and also will come in mail together with your actual card.
Kay asks, do you need to be a TD customer to download the TD My Spend app?
You don't need to be a TD customer to download TD app. It is actually public and free online. However, advantage to be a TD customer and use TD My Spend at the same time is when you actually spend any money on your TD checking account, saving account, or credit card, instead of you need to manually to do the bookkeeping, put it on that app, it actually automatically transfer it over to the TD My. The data will be transferred to the TD My Spend app. You only need to mark them, and then it will automatically put into a categorized group.
Benita notes that she joined late. The question is, which package is best for newcomers? Which banking package is best?
We make it very convenient and easy for you. Is we actually call it a new to Canada package. So do ask advisor about what is new to Canada package. It includes various product from checking account, saving account, as well as credit card.
Zhao asks a few great questions. First is, what's currently recommended as a safe investment option if I'm looking to plan for my retirement in the long run?
Wow, that is actually $1 million question. Do you know that? I would love to give a simple answer for that. I think everybody is waiting for it. However, it is not necessarily a simple answer for that question, because it really depends on everyone's situation. Typically, when we are talking about a better, we never call a better, safe, or the most efficient investment. Typically, I like to refer it to most fitted one. So depends on everybody's situation. So let's say if some people may refer GIC, Guaranteed Income Certificate, as a very safe investment. However, if you want to withdraw that GIC before the mature date, there is a chance that you will have a penalty. So in this case, you still lose money on top of your principal. And at the same time, if refer to what we learn in school as financial talk about, depends on your time horizon. Typically, the longer time horizon, the lower volatility risk is. So in terms of, we are talking about 10 years time frame, a lot of investment could be fairly safe. So it is really hard to give one single answer saying that what is the safe investment. The most important thing is I would recommend you sit down with one of the TD, go to any TD local branch, sit down with one of our personal banker, discuss about one is your financial goal. Second, what is the time horizon? Based on that, we will figure out the best, I wouldn't say best, is the fitted solution for you in terms of your investment. And sometimes it could be not one product, it could be a combination of the product that fits your short-term, mid-term, and long-term need. I hope that answered your question.
A few people have asked, yes, this webinar is being recorded. And yes, we will be sending you an email with the recording, as well as with Anne's presentation deck by tomorrow at the very latest. I know you've touched on this already, Anne, but other people are continuing to ask it. Anatesi asks, am I able to transfer money from my home country to a Canadian bank account with TD before I move to Canada?
Yes, like what we mentioned, if you are located in India and India and China, you will be able to open a TD account prior your arrival, and you will be able to transfer up to $25,000 into that account to prep your trip to Canada.
Nasmus asked some great questions on credit. I'll ask a couple of them. First is, how does a newcomer build credit in Canada?
Great question. Credit is A lot of people always coming answer that question. It is, we always refer to people know that it's very hard to get your first credit card. Therefore, when we actually build up the new to Canada package, as we referred earlier, it's already included one credit card that approved for you depend on your status in Canada. So if you are holding a study permit, working permit, as well as landed as a PR, that first credit card is ready for you at TD local branch. So once you have that credit card opened and you will start to use it and pay it back on time, it will help you to build up your credit score with credit bureau.
Athanaska asked a follow-up question on credit. If I have enough money, do I need to get a credit card?
I would recommend you still go ahead with that because I understand a lot of people, depends on which country you're from, that a lot of countries do use cash base. In Canada, it's credit score is very important thing, especially when you purchase a large item, for example, your house. So when we actually purchase a house, typically people will apply for a mortgage. And that is the time we also review your credit score to ensure overall risk to as a liability. So I would say credit score is still very important, even though you do have a big lump sum sitting in the bank for day to day, but in terms of some major purchase, you will still need it.
Rosie asked a couple of questions, fairly simple. One is, what are the requirements for a newcomer to get a credit card? And secondly, what are the requirements for a newcomer to get a line of credit?
Great question. So for credit card, like what we mentioned already, it is fairly easy nowadays for newcomer, as TD has already considered. It is hard as considered that we would like to help you start your credit score, and that is included in the new to Canada package, as long as you have your valid status in Canada, including bring in your working permit, study permit, as well as, or you have a landing paper, that will be sufficient enough for us to help you to get your first startup credit card. Line of credit at the same time is a little bit different product. The purpose for line of credit is a little bit different from a credit card. For your day-to-day use, provide you convenience. Line of credit typically is a little bit specific for a major purchase. A lot of people actually borrow a line of credit maybe for a car, or a lot of people borrow a line of credit for a specific, let's say, major purchase like furnitures. So that will take a little bit longer time after you have your credit score build up. It will be fairly easy to get from any bank. I would say it takes a little bit longer time for you to get a line of credit versus credit card in this case. Typically, I would say 6 months to close to 1 year time. You can check with your TD local branch to see if you will be qualified for one. And the most of the time, they will also, on top of your credit score, they will also ask what is your income looks like, the affordability to pay off the line of credit.
Vikram asks a great question. And the question is, what's recommended when going ahead with a purchase? Using a credit card or using a debit card?
I believe it is actually I believe there's not something really good about it. You go ahead, Krim.
I was just going to say, and it's a personal question, right?
Correct. But I would say myself use TD credit card, which is TD Visa. And I love to use my TD Visa when I'm actually doing my purchase, is because that it does provide convenience, as And also on top of that, depends on which credit card you're using. So TD actually offers a lot of credit card provide you extra benefit. For example, travel points, cashback. So it is some kind of saving or some I'm gonna gain some bonus when I'm actually spending money. So I'd like to use my credit card, especially TD Visa, when I'm actually doing my purchase.
Natalie, Jorge, and a few others ask similar questions. It's a bit tricky, and so perhaps we can also invite people to email us afterwards. Mm-hmm. Question is, do you know how much money newcomers can bring into Canada with them when they're coming in for the first time?
Yeah, I in this case, because I'm not actually, I believe that's a very good question. If you find a accountant to consult with when after you landed to Canada, because the difference is you will need to file. One thing I can kind of answer is all the landed immigrant that you won't need to file your income tax after 1 year you landed to Canada. Therefore, you will need to report your income as well as that will help you for the record in Canada. Sometimes that you probably has already declared your wealth, what your belongings back in home country, that will allow you to bring it in. So it's, once again, it is really depends on your scenario, that I would recommend you check with either CRA or your accountant to find out how much money for you to allow to transfer to Canada.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just note again, Natalie, Jorge, and others with this question, please email TD afterwards, and we'll happy to provide you with more information, including access to Canadian government websites so that you can learn more and make informed decisions. So the email, I just posted it. It's td.newcomers@td.com. So please just contact TD afterwards, and they'll be happy to assist you. It's a it's a broad question. Benita asks, what is the Canadian tax system like? I think that's too broad of a question. Is there anything or
yes, it is very, very good question, and it took me 4 years to get a degree for that. So it is, I would say it is very interesting question. Every country has its own very different system. So I would recommend you here, find a accountant. They will help you to do your, one is the personal tax filing, as well as that they can explain you better how the income tax system works in Canada.
Perfect. Marceline asks a great question. What benefits does TD offer compared with other Canadian banks?
Again, I would be biased. TD is the best for me. I think the very, very fundamental part is that we actually have the idea in terms of convenient bank. That's why we actually operate in terms of a local retail branch. We operate very long hours that to convenience you, that you don't have to get a day off to come to the branch to open your account. We open Saturdays and at night. That will provide you all kind of times whenever you need to find book an appointment with our financial advisor. At the same time, we offer multiple languages for a lot of newcomers, not only over the phone and also online, that help you better understand the information. And I would say at the end is the customer service. As one of the staff work at the retail banking, we are very well known as we provide very good customer service to our customer.
Do you also want to speak, Anne, about TD's multilingual support?
Yes, as Kareem mentioned, we do have multilingual support. I think there are over 14 different language that you can access from our TD website as well as our TD Easy Line when you call in to pick.
And we have a lot of participants on this webinar who speak French as their first language or their main language. We're sorry we're speaking in English, but please reach out to us afterwards and we'll be happy to provide you with more information in French. And the TD website has a lot of French information as well. So please email us at td.newcomers@td.com and we'll provide you with all the information we discussed in French to make it easier for you. Rukayat asks, when I move to Canada, can I deposit money in US dollars into a TD account?
Definitely, you can do that. So you can open we call TD borderless BBS US account. Its account itself is held as in US dollars. You can deposit in US and withdraw in US.
You touched on this already, Anne. We don't need to go over the phone number, but I'll provide the email in a second as well. Al-Kasumi is in China, and he wants to know how he can open a TD account in China pre-arrival.
Yes, you can open a TD account 75 days prior your arrival and by calling in. And the phone number from China, I can repeat one more time. It's 1-855 537-5355. 1-855-537-5355. Just make sure that you have your Canadian immigration visa ready when you call in.
And Al-Kasumi, again, you can also email TD, td.newcomers@td.com. Amotola asks, what other tips do you have to newcomers about how they can develop good habits to manage their money?
Again, the first thing, visit your local TD branch. Sit down with the advisor, go through detail in terms of new to Canada package that will provide a lot of info, not only the product, also information and perks that help you to do day-to-day operation banking, as well as help you to get some benefit in terms of start creating a saving from the saving account. At the same time, I would recommend from my personal experience that get involved in a lot of community event. So reach out to your local service center and to see what are, including library, including your community center, see what are the information or events they host for you new immigrant. A lot of the time they also offer specific event or seminars for new immigrants, to newcomers to get to know the community. And be open-minded, talk to more people, ask a question, don't hesitate. And you will find most of, we are immigration country, so most of people they themselves are like first-generation immigrants. They would love to help you.
Vikram asks, when a newcomer gets a credit card, what's the process if they're looking to get their credit limit increased?
Typically, once you get your credit card, you will start using it and pay it back. That will help you to improve your credit record at the credit bureau. Over the time, when you notice that your credit card the limit is not enough, you can either give us a call. Typically, there's a phone number on the back of the credit card to call TD credit card department, or come to a TD local retail branch to just ask for an increase. Sometimes depends on your credit score. It might have a pre-approved limit for you. Then in this case, it's going to be an instant increase for you. Sometimes we will need a little bit more information in terms of your income and other information to help us to make a decision to increase the limit for you.
Abdullah asks, does TD offer loans to international students when they move to Canada? I guess you can talk about credit as well, Anne.
Yeah, we do provide. So as I mentioned, loan is a little bit complex product in terms of lending side, but we definitely offer credit card to international students to build up your credit score.
You touched on this briefly, Anne, and I think in the interest of time, you're not going to be able to cover everything. But what are some of the more prominent investment options in Canada, and how are they taxed?
Wow. Okay. Yes. But I like the question. This is actually a very important question.
Yeah.
I may not have enough time to cover everything, but if I don't, visit your TD local branch. Our advisor definitely will be able to provide you very detailed information in terms of that. So in Canada, we do have a variance of the investment solution from traditional GIC to a bond, bank structure note, mutual fund, as well as stock. Depends, a lot of times really depends on how much money we're talking about in terms of investment portfolio. At the same time, your financial goal, your time horizon, as well as your individual's investment experience and your investment knowledge. Because a lot of time we figure out that it could be a fit product for the customer. However, because it's not within your comfort level, that we don't want to bear a investment that costs you cannot sleep at night. So it is very important that you can go talk to a professional advisor to provide you the information. And sometimes it's not a singular answer. What is the best investment for you? It could be a combination. And in terms of type of investment, in terms of how they get taxes for the investment profit, there are 4 different type of investment payout. One is like wages, interest income, typically earned on the investment, such as guarantee investment certificate or saving deposit account is taxed at an individual's highest marginal tax rate. These make interest the least tax efficient form of your investing income. Second is dividend income. Dividend income is paid on a stock issued by eligible Canadian corporations to receive more favorable tax treatment, since this type of income benefit from the federal dividend tax credit. In other words, dividend income is more tax efficient than the interest income. That means the investors in dividend paying investments keep more of what they earn after tax. And the third one is the favorable one that for a lot of people is the capital gain. Capital gain are triggered when you sell your investment for a higher price than your book value, also called adjusted cost base or ACB. Your book value is calculated by adding your total amount of contribution into either a mutual fund or stock, plus reinvestment fund distribution, minus any withdrawals. Book value is used to determine if an investor is in a capital gain or loss position for a tax purpose. Very similar to a dividend income, capital gain receive favorable tax treatment since only half of the capital gain is taxed. And dividend and the capital gain are typically earned on equity investment. So I don't know if that's going to answer your question in terms of different type of investment as well as the tax treatment. But again, I would recommend you go to any TD local branch and discuss with your advisor, because we also have a lot of registered account we just mentioned that will help you to save on the tax payment as well.
So I'm just going to add to what Anne eloquently said by noting that it's a lot of information. We understand this. It's a very complex topic, and we will be sending you Anne's presentation by tomorrow, where you can access more of this information that she just spoke to. In addition, you're welcome to contact TD afterwards at td.newcomers@td.com to get more information and to ask your questions. And just to help you feel a bit better, this topic is so complex that many Canadians don't understand it. Or it'll take Canadians many, many years to learn more about different investment options and how to reduce their tax burden. So don't feel scared or intimidated by this. Luckily, TD is available to assist you and to help you as much as possible so that you can save for your future as well as for your family's future. So we've tackled that question already. Here's a good question. A very common question actually among newcomers. Is it better to invest your money or to keep it in cash?
Yeah, it is. It is a myth for a lot of newcomers when you come to a new country. It also depends on your situation, I would say. A lot of the time, that depends on how much we are talking about. Typically, I would recommend my customer to at least prepare your budgeting, like what we mentioned. You will know how much you will need in maybe short term, in about a year time or 2 year time. Those are the money you want to leave either in a saving account or a cash flow GIC to allow you to easy access to the fund whenever you need it. However, that we all know that will provide you a limited interest payout for a bigger amount that you say I probably don't need to use it for a longer term. If you do have a time frame for over 3 years or 5 years, there are definitely going to be more options for you to invest. Will generate a little bit better, possibly generate a better income. However, in this case, there's also risk comes with it. So a lot of time depends on your risk tolerance as well as the time horizon to decide if you want to put something in the investment. There's no guarantee answer. An investment is for sure better than a saving. A typical example is that if you come to Canada with an idea that I would like to purchase a small apartment in the next year or two, and then you are doing a shopping right now for the house. Maybe it's not a good idea you put all money into an investment because you know that you will use that in a very short period of time.
Another common question we've received, Anne, are non-PRs eligible to invest in registered accounts in Canada?
I just want to clarify, in this case, non-PR, does that including
work permit holders and study permit holders?
Yeah, typically, so basically for all the registered account, the requirement that you will need to have a SIN number, which is social insurance number. So if you do have a working permit or a study permit, you are allowed to invest in the registered account.
What percentage of a newcomer's income, as a rule of thumb, should they put aside each month for unexpected expenses?
I would recommend you do detailed budgeting, like what we were discussed typically, because it's really depends on how much income you actually bring back home. So prepare for a detailed budgeting in terms of what you need. You will know like how much discretionary amount that you can have to put on the side as saving in this case. And sometimes we found out what happened is you will always have something unexpected. That's why we want to do adjust and realign. So after 3 months to 6 months, revisit your plan. If over the time you notice that you always have some unexpected unexpected expense happens every month, that could be the amount that you would like to put on the side as a regular unexpected expense. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's very subjective, but there are good guidelines out there. Okay, so thank you once again, Anne, and thank you everyone very much for participating in today's webinar. I'd like to invite you all to sign up to our next webinar if you enjoyed this one. It's taking place on Tuesday, December 12th. We've shared the link on your screens, and we'll also be emailing the links to you very shortly. In addition, we will be sending you an email tomorrow with Anne's presentation, as well as with the recording of her remarks. In addition, as a reminder, we're going to be holding a draw very shortly, and we will be sending an email to the lucky winner of the $100 Canadian gift card so that they can claim their prize. So please remember to monitor your emails after this webinar. Once again, please continue to reach out to TD to ask your questions and to get guidance on how you can go ahead and open your bank account with TD, either pre-arrival or post-arrival. Their email is td.newcomers@td.com. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to hand things back over to Anne to provide us with her final remarks.
Thank you, Kareem, and really thank you everyone for this opportunity to give back as the first immigrant to be part of our journey. Really, I totally understand how exciting it is. Meanwhile, how could be a little bit chill and scare before you come to Canada. However, I would, with TD's help and with TD and Visa Canada's help, I think that will be a smooth transition for you. Once again, I've already mentioned that over 10 times during this seminar, visit TD local branch. Our staff will be very happy to see you and help you over there to start your journey at Canada. And don't be worried, and we will be together with you. Thank you, Kareem.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you to TD, and thank you most of all to all of you for joining us today. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.